Time is 7 o'clock. We're going to call our meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Soren Peterson.
Here.
Chuck Schultz.
Here.
Jennifer Eden.
Here.
Mike Cunningham.
Here.
And Marcy Husted's here. Al Poole and David Walker are absent.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to suspend our regular meeting so we can conduct a public hearing. The purpose of the public hearing is to explain and answer questions pertaining to the role and to hear objections to the role for the Lake Shannon Road Improvement Project. If anybody has any questions regarding that, please go to the podium and use the microphone. We record these so we can get your comments recorded, if anything. Does anybody have any comments pertaining to the role for Lake Shannon? Okay, being that there are none, we will go ahead and close the public hearing and reconvene our regular board meeting meeting. As far as the agenda, I'd like to make a couple of changes to it. The fire contracts are not ready to be discussed tonight, so I'd like to pull that. That is item number 4. And I would also like to replace that with our MTA invoice for the year. So item number 4 will no longer be fire contracts. It'll be our MTA invoice, our dues invoice for the year. And unless there's any other changes, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. Been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Next is approval of the consent agenda, the regular board meeting minutes from May 1st, 2018, the treasurer's report, and the clerk's warrants and bills.
So moved.
Second. It's been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next on the agenda is communications. Item number 1 is the Planning Commission meeting synopsis from May 15th, 2018, and the fire run report from April 2018.
Move to place on record?
Yeah, second that.
Been motioned and supported to receive and place on communications 1 and 2 on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Next, public remarks. Does anybody have any public comments about tonight's agenda or anything else? All right, being that there are none, we will move to new business. Item number 1 is request to adopt resolution 180503 to confirm the Lake Shannon Road Improvement Project Special Assessment role. You want to give us a brief synopsis of what it is that we're doing, since you're our legal counsel?
Sure. You have 2 resolutions left in connection with the bonding project for the Lake Shannon Road Improvement Project. We obviously had the first public hearing a few weeks ago, had the public hearing and then the special assessment role. This first resolution confirms the special assessment role. So this is the role which has a specific levy for each property in the project.
Okay. Is anybody in opposition to it?
No, but it is been discussed that is a majority of the people want this.
Yes, they do.
I will resolve to approve it.
Second.
It's been resolved and supported to adopt Resolution 180503 to confirm the Lake Shannon Road Improvement Project Special Assessment role. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Jennifer Eden.
Yes.
Mike Cunningham.
Yes.
Soren Peterson.
Yes.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
I say yes, and Al Poole and David Walker absent.
So that resolution passes. Item number 2 on the agenda is request to adopt the bond authorizing Resolution 180504 for the Lake Shannon Road Improvement Project.
So this is a second resolution for your consideration this evening. Now that we've established a special assessment role and confirmed it, the last thing to do is to authorize the issuance of bonds. So this resolution allows the township board to go forward with borrowing the $1,310,000 for this, paying those bonds off over a 20-year period, and using the flow of the special assessments to pay those bonds.
Right?
10 years.
I said 20 years. That's because last night I was at a project that we were doing a 20-year deal for. Yes, 10 years. Thank you for the correction.
It's been a busy year, hasn't it?
Well, sometimes there's a little merge together of these transactions. From a timing standpoint, the township is working with their financial advisor, along with Deerfield Township. We expect to be in a position to sell the bonds towards the end of June, and then close the bonds and receive the money by the third week of July, which will then allow us to start construction on the project into July and have it finished before Labor Day.
Perfect. Any opposition? Entertain the resolution.
So resolved.
Second.
It's been resolved and supported to authorize bond resolution 180504 for the Lake Shannon Road Improvement Project. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden.
Yes.
And I say yes. Al Poole and David Walker are absent.
Item number, that resolution passes. Item number 3 is request to adopt resolution 180505 to proceed with a special assessment district for police and fire services in the township and send out, did that not print?
Yeah, to send out
And to send out the notices.
the notices
That's
to
exactly
schedule
what
the
it is.
first public hearing.
I knew something was missing, yeah, notices. So, we've talked about our special assessment for police and fire, and we need to send out the notices because we're going to adopt that going forward, it looks like. So this is part of the process, so we need to send out notices notifying them of the special assessment district.
This is also a responsibility of the township board to provide the public safety, right? This is why we're doing it, right?
Right. This was voter approved years ago, and then, we know all the repercussions of not having police and fire, and we also know that the benefit on your insurance for having an ISO rating saves you a lot of money. So, do you have anything else you want to add to that, Marcy?
No, the board packet has a copy of the notice that all the residents will be receiving. The assessments will remain the same as what you've been paying all along. No changes. The first public hearing will be June 19th. But yeah, everything will continue on as it has been.
So resolved.
Second.
Been resolved and supported to adopt resolution 180504 to proceed with a special assessment district for police and fire in the township and send out notice. Any further discussion? Being there none, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
I say yes, and Al Poole and David Walker absent.
That resolution passes. Next is item number 4, request to pay the MTA invoice. As you know, we're a member of the Michigan Townships Association. They are the largest lobbying group for townships in the state. They offer legal advice, sample policies, retention schedules, salary calculators, a bunch of numerous services for townships. Something that we've done every year. I don't see any reason not to do it again, because it's a very value-added service. The dues for this year are $5,787.57. The dues are calculated on your state assessed value, so larger townships pay more, smaller townships pay less. So unless anybody wants to speak in opposition of it, I'll entertain a motion for that as well.
Second that.
Well, that would be the motion.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
You're used to the brain.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's Zoran motioned and Marcy seconded. So it's been motioned and supported to pay the invoice for the MTA membership. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is item number 5. It's a request to approve the Hogan Road Gravel Improvement Project. As you know, Hogan Road is a truck route. It also is the main route. Since they've opened spring aggregate, it's seen an increased amount of gravel trains going down the road. The road is not in good shape. It's got a lot of clay on it. It's very dusty, clay and sand. So I talked with the road commission, and we had conversation with Deerfield Township, since they're getting tip fees because the pit is within their township, and the gravel pit operator. And we decided that it would be fair that all parties are vested in this, that we would split the cost 3 ways. So what the road commission is going to do is ditch it, do the tree work, and we're going to split the cost of gravel, and that will be from Linden Road to Old US 23. Our portion of the cost is $6,500. So it's basically a mile of road for gravel of $6,500. If you ever had a gravel train running down your road, especially when it's all bumpy, it's not smooth with gravel, you know the noise it makes and you know the dust that it creates. So I think that the residents would find some nice relief for this project being approved. So unless anybody else has any other comments or negative against it, I'll entertain a motion on that.
Moved.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the Hoven Road Gravel Improvement Project for $6,500. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is request to authorize carpet cleaning in the township office. We have a couple of estimates on that. One was from Rendell's, who we've used in the past, and I believe their estimate was
$700.
$700. And then we have this other one, Absolute Pro Care, $250. There's a big separation in cost there. I mean, for $250, I mean, it might be worth trying, unless somebody knows anything about Absolute Pro Care.
It does say spot removal will be $5 additional, so,
Per spot.
yeah, so it may be more than $250.
How many spots do we want on a tree?
Is it all in the back offices, all the spots? or-
Yes, probably.
Yeah, blame it on me, right? Since I'm back there. Yeah, that's where my office is, so that's where he said all the spots are.
Yeah.
I'll do it for 600, not get all the spots. I mean, do we want to, pick per spot, or do we want to
No, just,
go for the 700 and be done with it? So, I don't know, you guys decide what you want to do.
I think the 250 sounds good. I don't think there's going to be that many spots.
no.
Do we want to pick a number so we limited it? Or do we just want to say trade all the spots and end up with a $700 bill? I don't know. One's all inclusive and the other one's all a la carte, I guess.
Why don't we say not to exceed $300?
There you go.
That sounds legit.
All right.
So is that your
I'll make
motion?
that motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. It's been motioned and supported to approve the Absolute Pro Carpet Care contract with a not-to-exceed price of $300. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next is request of the clerk to purchase election supplies.
Okay, so we have to order some ballot booths. We had some old hardcover ones that were really cumbersome and heavy that we disposed of, so I need to replace all of those. And that's what the first item on here is, and that's the cardboard, plastic cardboard one. I guess they're plastic. They sort of look like corrugated cardboard. That's what those are. So I'm proposing to purchase 32 of those. And right now we have ballot containers that are, they're metal boxes. They're heavy. They're about so big. And we're trying to eliminate those because they're heavy and
The handles on them are real thin, they hurt your fingers when you
Yeah,
carry
they're-
them, and they're very awkward to carry. Surprised
So
we
the-
don't have a back problem.
So that I'm proposing to replace those with these ballot bags. And we have some of these already, and we just don't have enough of them. And then,
Don't those ballot bags allow you to put all your supplies for the precinct in there as well?
no, these are just for the ballots. And then these are for the test ballots, because for every election, we have to do a preliminary and public accuracy test for each precinct, and we have to seal the test results. And right now, we have these big metal cans, boxes that they're heavy and they're hard to open, and so I want to replace the boxes with these bags. And then the last thing, to try to help the precincts get more organized, I want to purchase these bags on wheels, and they're 24 inches long. All of their supplies can go in here. Right now, we have them in multiple totes, and they're very disorganized, and so this will be a way for them to organize all of their supplies so they know exactly what they have. They can put in everything that they need to run the election. It's on wheels. They don't have to carry it around. So they're a little pricey. They're $175 each, but it will make their jobs a lot easier, and mine too, because I won't have to go through and sort through their totes, and at the end of the election, they just kind of throw things back in and everything's unorganized. This way, they'll know where things need to go, and hopefully they'll put things back where they need to go. But the total cost for that is $1,908.51. And I didn't figure shipping or tax in that cost either. But I do have budgeted $3,000 for election supplies.
We knew we were going to upgrade a lot of this stuff earlier, right?
Some of that stuff's archaic and so.
It is. And most of the jurisdictions have gotten rid of those metal boxes just because, well, Terry and I had to take them down to Heartland to get them certified, and we had to try to put all of those cans in my car on a winter, snowy, windy day and take them down to Heartland.
The coldest day of the year when you have to do that.
It was hard.
I remember the day.
And then when we went to pick them up, it wasn't any nicer. So these, when we take them down, we can stuff them all inside of each other and just carry them in.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and order the supplies.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the request of the clerk to purchase election supplies. Any further discussion? And the most important thing about an election is accuracy, and you need organization to be accurate, and this just definitely helps it, so I agree with that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is approval of the quote for KCI to mail out summer tax bills and newsletters.
A quote that we've asked for from KCI is around $3,000, and it's pretty close to what we paid last year.
And we budgeted for it, we have money in the
Yes.
budget for it, so it's
Yep.
not,
Send it. So moved.
Second.
been motioned and supported to approve the quote from KCI to mail out summer tax bills and newsletters. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. We have no unfinished business. Next is, so we do have unfinished business. It's item number 1. It's building remodel discussion. I know we've had some discussion about the repairs that need to take place around here, and it kind of led to, you know, if we're into that, we might as well look at remodeling and, you know, just to upgrade and get everything where we need it to be OSHA compliant and ADA compliant. This is a significant investment, and the cost for a remodel is not far off of that. So that's why we prepared estimates and had a site plan, so to speak, of developed by our engineering firm. We had a discussion on it. It's still $700,000, which I think is significantly low, considering the cost of construction nowadays and the availability of contractors. The thing about it is, if we were to do something on it, we would have to get going rather quickly, because it takes design times, plan times, bidding times, and actual construction times. We have several elections in 2020 where we would need this facility in order to conduct those elections, because it's one of our precincts. So, with that being said, what is it that we think we would like to do? I mean, is it something we want to put on the back burner? Is it something we'd like to move forward with? The issues with our electrical panels, our ADA stuff, I mean, we know we have problems there, and we know that they need to be addressed.
Where were we talking of funding this? Obviously, I know we've had a building fund, we've been kind of throwing some money
We would
away
fund
already.
this, we would not be asking the taxpayers for additional revenue to do so. We would be funding this ourselves.
And we've been in preparation for this for a while.
We have been putting money away every year for building improvements and in our building fund. We'll have the ability to put more money in there in the next year or two to probably pay it off.
One of the, and then the cost of not doing it. Cost of not doing it, and then having to wait till after that 2020 election
Well,
could be putting it out of sight, or
well, then you're going to have to deal with what construction costs. If the market continues to increase, that cost is probably going to go up probably another 20, 30, 40, 50%.
that, plus where are we obsolete in this building? When is that going to happen? Soon?
Well, for all intents and purposes, a building has got, what, a 30-year depreciation schedule on it? We're in 50. This building was built in 1967, before technology, before computers, before copiers and all that. And, we have an overloaded electrical system. They've been piggybacked. There's no main electrical disconnect on it. The only way to disconnect the electrical system is to walk out and pull the meter. We've actually looked at putting an emergency backup generator in case, we had a disaster here, that we at least have a place that has power. We can't even do that because of the status of the panel. The panel's over a desk. That's an OSHA violation. It needs to be moved, but we have no place to move it to make it compliant. So,
Well, I think we need to take the steps to actually find out hard cost, and if that becomes a more of the design, then we have to start. We have to do that anyway.
right. Well, and I think before we start spending that money, I think we should do some sort of public hearing to let the residents know, after all, this is their bank account, it's not ours. We need to let them know that, we've got issues here, and, we could, put lipstick on it, and it's still gonna be out in the pig pen, or we can do the modifications that needed. We have the HVAC issues, we have an R3 rating of insulation in the walls, we have an R13 in the ceiling, and as a contractor, what's the spec on that now?
You're looking at, you're approaching above the R40 in the ceiling, and then now you gotta have 21 in the walls and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of deficiencies in this building.
Yeah, you got people running the air conditioner in the back, and we have heaters on up front.
We have,
That's what I was going at. We
There's
we have
room.
cost of ownership issues going on right now,
Yep.
and this is also gonna project that to the future.
we got a grant a few years ago, and we put supposedly energy-efficient windows in, and when we infrareded them, you should see the coal just pouring in. Actually, you've seen the report. We got LED lights. That's the only thing that's energy efficient in this building. I think over a matter of short time, I don't know how long it'll take to make $700,000 worth, but, we're bleeding energy in this building.
Thing is, though, you're right, Mike, the cost of construction is rising fast. Don't know how close that is until we, Obviously, we have to do the
They've-
hearing and everything else to see if we want to go
Well,
forward.
our engineer had the architect look at it and look at it 3 times, and he seems to think that that's a pretty solid number, and he said he's actually overshot it a little bit.
And we can do it in the 2 phases, too. We have to do it all at once. We can do the building.
Oh, the building and the parking lot.
Building in the parking lot.
Right.
So what we were looking at doing is not only doing that, we were going to expand at the back, make some more offices in here, expand in the back, put a larger meeting room, add more parking spots, take that center out. If you were here, any of you voted here during the last election, there wasn't enough, people were parking down Center Road, there wasn't enough parking, so.
Okay.
Like I said, this building's been here for 50 years, and it's never really been brought up to code in any aspect, so.
And they were talking, I know it was, the parking lot. Got the parking lot at and they got a lot of contingency in there too, so hopefully it'll be under that, but
So just a little history. This building was built in 1967. It was an office area up here, and at some point in the 70s, they added on again, and then later in the 80s, they added on in the back. So there was a HVAC system in place, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. So what they did is they just added another one. And then they added another one. So this building is treated with 3 different HVAC systems. It's got 3 different air conditioning units. It's got 3 different heaters. It's got ductwork that's in the floor. It's got ductwork that's in the ceiling. There's no insulation on it. So like Marcy said earlier, you have air conditioning on in the back. You got heater on here. None of it will balance. It has no baffles in the ductwork, so you can balance the air to make sure that you're getting an even heating or cooling source in the building. You can see the condition that the floor is in. We've painted it and done everything that we can. Those are just some of the issues we mentioned, the insulation, the electrical panel, and, we took a look at it and just, we had one estimate, minimum estimate, just to fix the electrical is going to be over $20,000. So, there's still old ducts from previous installations up there, and it's it's in bad shape. So, we're looking at it to see, what is the best option, and this is what's come up. So, I think, just want to give you a little history so you know what we're talking about, and, this is just not something that we are doing because we want to do it and spend money. It's, it's kind of a necessity, so. So, next steps. What would you like to do? Set up a
public hearing, right?
set up a public hearing and let our engineer know that we're looking at doing that and get some information going on that. I think we need to do something, probably our second meeting in June for that.
That'll
Okay.
be when we have the public hearing for public safety. Do you want to do it at the same meeting?
Do it. Can you have it do it the first meeting?
We have to
No.
get the notices, we have to publish notices.
In the paper?
Might be a good time to do it.
Yeah, just do them both.
Might as
Do
well.
notices for both. That's fine.
Save costs on the notices, and we'll have residents here. So we'll just piggyback it.
Why not?
Definitely going to get their opinion one way or another, right? Sounds good to me.
Yep.
So, all right, unless you have any other comments about that, we'll move on. We have no miscellaneous business. Public remarks. Anybody else like to make any comments? Anybody? There had to be one. It's you.
Great. I can talk loud enough, I don't need the mic. I'm Frank Albrecht, I live on Parkwood.
Yes.
Just, is there more information about the road? I know there was a spot on the agenda for public discussion. I thought there was going to be a little bit better discussion or description of what $1.3 million buys us for the road. If- I
No.
mean,
Sure, yeah, we talked about that at the first public hearing, but,
Yes. Because if you divide it by what, 325, you're about little over $4,000 per piece of property. That's the target?
4,500.
Okay, so then there's less than 325. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But what point but I want to know what's happened. I mean, it is not to be controversial, but I want to go back to look at the voting information about the voting facilities that you're buying. You have line item detail that 18 of these cost this. We don't have anything on the road? I'm just interested, just what's going to happen with the road? Because I know a lot of people are saying, well, I think this is going to happen, I think that's going to happen. We had a discussion back at the public hearing saying that
Right.
it's going to be a regrind and minimal amount of adjustment. Okay, that's more than what we have today. And I'm just wondering, we have a number. Everybody spends a lot of time on their checkbooks because nobody is having problems. Somebody must know what $1.31 million mean. That's all I'm looking for.
The way it was, it was brought up by the residents, is this is what they want to do. The road commission looked at it, so what they're going to do is they're going to go out and grind up old asphalt, they're going to put down new asphalt, they're going to fix any deficiencies within the road. So if you had an area where it's sunk down, they're going to dig that out, they're going to bring in new material, compact it down so that that doesn't happen again. So they're going to resurface all the pavement that's existing. They'll stripe it. What else? There was no curb and gutter work unless it was damaged. They were going to fix it. I think that much.
Driveway approaches.
Yeah, they're going to fix the driveway approaches, so they'll redo those.
That's a good point. Is all the driveway, the aprons to the bottom of the driveways, are all of those going to be replaced by the road? Or is that now the responsibility of, because who's tying driveways to the road?
What it says is this estimate includes removing and repaving a portion of the driveway approaches necessary to match the new elevation of the road in the open ditch section.
That's the answer to that question. I mean,
Sure.
the change in the road, last time we ended up getting new culverts when we had this done
Right.
25, 30 years ago.
Yeah. And some driveways may match up when they do it, so they won't touch them. But the ones that won't, they'll adjust.
And then that was the question, what are we doing?
Right.
And I'd be just right up front, that is, on a personal note, that is my only objection to this road. And the reason I didn't vote for it, because somebody asked me to spend $5,000 just because we need a new road. I would have voted, I want the road, but I wanted to understand, and I wanted other people, I wanted the discipline of understanding what is needed.
Sure.
And what are we buying?
Sure.
And that's my whole point tonight, and I won't linger on it.
If you'd like to leave an email address with Terry, we can actually send you the scope of work for the project. No problem.
Share it with anybody, a couple of people I've talked to.
Sure. If anybody else, we'll be more than glad to share it with you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
How long is this road gonna last us? What's the estimated amount of time? 20 years?
How long did the last road last? They said 30 years?
30.
So they don't seem,
It's been 30 years.
right.
And-
So they're thinking that it'll last as long as this one did. They build roads to a 20-year ASHTO standard,
20 years.
but that's there's so many variables that, so you've already had a road down. You've already had an existing base. Any deviations in that base are going to be repaired. So, I mean, it could last longer than 20 years.
Okay, now, if we have problems, are they going to come back and redo it for no cost?
Oh, yeah, there's a warranty. What is it, for a year? If there's any, I believe it's a year.
Yeah, but is a year a sufficient amount of time? I don't know, I'm not.
Oh, if you're going to have any problems, they'll manifest right away.
I think they would come back if there is a problem with the construction where it was a
Yeah,
big bridge. or-
if it's a construction or materials issue, and it usually, it's not common, but it does happen. Something's wrong with one batch of the mix. We had that happen on Heartland Road. It's the only road that we've had it happen on. We've done several repaving projects in the last 8 years, and part of it just started coming up. So they got right out there, and then took it up and put it back down, and it's just as fine as can be.
That would not be any additional cost. That's
No, that was, they covered that.
What's been decided to be assessed, or projected to be assessed.
Right.
They can't come back and ask for more. That's what-
No, this is the assessment, this is the amount, there's the terms of what they're gonna do and provide, and, yeah. That answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, since we have no more public comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay? Support. Been motioned and supported to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Well, thank you for coming.
Slap it.
Glad to be here. These are the best kind of public meetings, right, you know?
Right.
They aren't always quite as easy.
No, exactly.
Some people talk about how they have 2- and 3-hour meetings.